Hello everyone. It's the evening of June 10th, 2025, and of course it's a few hours away from June 11th, and I've been looking at this date of June 11th for a few months now, thanks to a comment on one of my videos a couple months ago to take a look at this channel, Threadnosis. He's been really pouring out the videos about 611 and a few other YouTube channels I subscribe to also have been looking at this date of 6/11 very heavily. Could be a very important date. And of course, if you know anything about my channel is all about the Wormwood event, and I'm going to be showing you some Wormwood specific numbers that go with this event. It's very, very tied to Wormwood and Revelation 8:11, which is what my channel is all about. And you can see here I have up on Stellarium a view of Mars about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning Central Time, and Mars will break the horizon. I have my location here set on Carbondale. That's where the X-eclipse occurred. But I will have Mars will break the horizon at about 10 minutes to 11 tomorrow Central Time in that area anyway. So I want to talk about a lot of these Mars rituals in relation to tomorrow, because the connection there is that June 11th, 2025 on the Earth calendar will be Mina 11 or 8/11 on the Mars calendar. And I've went over this a little bit already, but right here, Mina means fish, right? And I've been looking at a water theme. Mina is the 8th month in the Darien calendar for the planet Mars, so 8/11. And it's also interesting because Mars has a maximum synodic period of, or it can have a maximum synodic period of 811 days. So there's all these Wormwood connections. And that's what my channel is all about, the falling Wormwood star. And with the water connection, right, in the Wormwood 8:11 verse here, it talks about many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Okay, and this whole the ordinal value of this verse is 1377. It's the 141st verse of Revelation. The 141st prime is 8:11. And remember, a few months ago we had the death of Michelle Trachtenberg. She was in Eurotrip, which featured wormwood or absinthe, and they had the Pope connection, and the Pope died on the 1033rd Mercury birthday of the United States of America's founding, and we're going to cover that 1033 again as well. But I want to show you some Wormwood specific numbers, of course associated with Mars here. That 811 day synodic period is interesting. And the 8/11 on the Martian calendar coinciding with June 11 is certainly interesting as well. Okay. And connecting with all these water events, I had been talking about the water events, especially in my last video, the water events. And I just want to show you something that's interesting. I talk about the bitter water. Bitter water equals 141 in the ordinal cipher, and that's interesting because, of course, 141, we're going to be looking at this pi, because tomorrow is the 314th millennium lunation. I should say it's the full moon for the 314th millennium lunation, and 141 occurs at the first position of pi. Well, let's take a look at that first here. We're looking at June 11th, which is brown lunation, 1267. In order to calculate the millennium lunation, you subtract 953. So we'll be in millennium lunation 314 for the full strawberry moon tomorrow, or actually early in the morning on the 11th. And since we've been looking at, or I've been looking at this 1033, looked at that, and right after I did that video, that's when Pope Francis passed away on the anniversary of the San Jacinto Monument dedication, and the 1033rd Mercury anniversary of the United States of America. I showed you the connection to World War II in 611 with the 1033. But tomorrow being full moon of Millennium Lunation 314, I wanted to go back and just look at the lunation 1033. And if we subtract that Millennium Lunation number, we get Millennium Lunation 80. So all the way back to Millennium Lunation 80, which is Brown Lunation 1033. There was a full moon on July 10th, and I'll just take a look at that date span real quick. And you can see it's 6911. Pretty interesting day span there, or a number of days in between these two dates, from the full moon on 1033 to 1267, 6911, of course. Tomorrow is 611, and then when you flip that 6 upside down, it's a 9, 911. So interesting number connected to the Millennium Lunation 80 or 133 or 1033 and Millennium Lunation 314. Now something else that's interesting, since we're connecting this to all the Wormwood numbers, 611, if we look at the position of 611 in pi, it's actually occurs at position 426, and that was the date of the Chernobyl accident in Ukraine, 426, 1986. So the string 611, the first appearance of 611 occurs at position 426 in pi, and that was the date, April 26th, 1986, of Chernobyl, and Chernobyl translates into Wormwood in Ukrainian. So there's another pi connection with the first position and the 426 with the 611th position. So, or the 611 at position 426. Another thing I was looking at, going back in time here, looking at connections to the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. The bitter water. I went back and looked at July 7th, 2008, and I found this unenriched uranium leak into the Gaffrey and Lauzon rivers from the Tricastin Nuclear Power Center in France, resulting in the plant being closed. Oh, I don't have it up here, but so this incident happened on 7/7/2008, where a nuclear power plant dumped uranium and unenriched uranium into the Gaffrey and Lauzon rivers, right? The bitter water. So I went and looked at the date span here, or the date range from 7 to 611. And it's 6183 days, which is very interesting in relation to Mars, because 6183 is divisible by this number 687, which is a Martian year. 687 days is a Martian year. Fits perfectly, and that just happens to be 9 Martian years. So tomorrow will be the 9th Martian anniversary of the Tristan nuclear power uranium leak on 8/11 on the Martian calendar, and its connection to, of course, Wormwood, the bitter water. Of course, that nuclear connection with uranium, right? The falling Wormwood star, Wormwood being Chernobyl in Ukrainian. Okay, what else do we have here I want to show you? This is the view of Earth from Mars on this slide, and you can see Earth is going to be right by the tail of Capricorn, and the tail of Capricorn, that star is called Deneb Elgadai, and it is known as the Star of Sacrifice. And what kind of got me looking at that, of course, is I was watching a video from Threadnosis that got me looking at this date. He's been talking about Capricorn as well. Of course, it's a very symbolic constellation, being, a land animal and a fish, a land and sea animal. And what else do I have going on here? I want to show you here with this. Okay. And then the reason I was looking at that, why I want to change my view in Stellarium to Mars, is because the Sun traverses the central sector of the constellation Pisces when seen from Mars. So there's another water connection. So when you're on Mars in this view here, you have the Sun in Pisces, right? The fish, you know, the sun and the water there. So another connection to water. And of course, water is connected to, you know, our banking system. And of course, the act of giving birth, right? All that stuff is connected to water. So, and I've been covering, like I said before, covered a bunch of water themes in my last video about June 11th. Notice I have the submarine here, and I've been looking at the city of Chicago. There is a German UC-97 submarine that was sunk in the Lake Michigan. And if we look at this line here I've drawn, I showed you guys this a long time ago, but that German UC-97 is pointed. If you draw a line from the two nuclear submarines that were lost by the United States, the Thresher and the Scorpion, the locations, when you draw that line, it points directly to the UC-97 that's in Lake Michigan near Chicago. So there's another water connection. And of course, I've been looking at Chicago and all these connections I've made in Chicago many times in the past. Chicago, Seattle, and briefly I think I looked at Boston, but all these, everything on my little, on my lines here point to Chicago. So very, very interesting, given some of the water themes here. Okay, covered the moon. Let's see what else I have here. The 1377 is the ordinal gematria value of the Revelation 8:11 verse. And on my slides here, if we go from 11/4/11 to 6/11/2025, it's 13 years, 7 months, 7 days. And the reason that's so important is because 11/4/11 is the 1377th prime. 11411 is the 1377th prime, coinciding with that ordinal gematria value of Revelation 8:11, and the direct date connection for 11/4/11 to 6/11 Earth and 8/11 on the Martian calendar. Here's another one. I've done a bunch of videos and I've mentioned, well, a few videos anyway, and I've mentioned it in several other videos, the date or the number 2319. So I just happened to put in this date of February 3rd, 2019, or 2319, and it's 331 weeks and 3 days to June 11th. And that's another Wormwood number that I've singled out. The 24th star number is 3313. This is all the ways you can get 3313 from these other numbers. 3313 is the 466th prime. It's the 24th star number. 477 minutes is 33.13% of a day. All these things. And then this is where I got the 3313 from. In the book of Revelation, Revelation 8:11 is 33 verses past Revelation 6:12, which is about the great earthquake, and then 13 more verses gets us to 9/11. Right, two very important verses in the book of Revelation, the earthquake, and of course 9/11, and this positioning of 8:11 is 33 and 13 between those two. Oops. Another number that I've looked at before, this is January 1st, 1997, and this isn't so much a Wormwood number, but January 1st, 1997 is interesting because it was the beginning or the launch date of the emergency alert system, 1197, and that is 10,388 days, and that's a number I've covered several times, the 1388. In fact, there's a 9/11 connection to that as well. If we go back to 11/22/1963 to 9/11/2001, of course that's the JFK assassination to 9/11. Another, just moving the zero here, another 1388, and I've found a bunch of other 1388s, and the significance of that is the height of the Great Pyramid of Giza was listed at 138.8 meters on the Wikipedia page for many, 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 many years, and then somewhat recently they changed the height, but that's where the 138.8 comes from, or the 1388. Shows up with the Kennedy assassination and 9/11, and also showing up again with the emergency alert system and the date of June 11th, 2025. So that's all I kind of had for you. I just want to show the 8/11, Amina 11, or 8/11 on the Mars calendar, coinciding with June 11th, and all the other interesting connections, the Wormwood, the water connection, right, the bitter water. The pi connection is certainly, I find this almost the most interesting. 6/11 occurs at the position 426, the date of the Chernobyl incident. 141, obviously the very first position of pi, connects to Wormwood, the Revelation 8:11 chapter as well, or verse. And, I had done this. I had covered this in, I think, a video or two ago. I talked about Maxine Waters and her flood reinsurance program that she brought before the House of Representatives. And Maxine Waters was recently fined $68,000 for violating campaign finance laws just 8 days ago or so. And then another Maxine Waters immigration story here just a few days ago as well. She was in LA, involved with some, riot stuff here. She was trying to inject her 2 cents into the riots here, but she's been in the news lately, and I had talked about her in my past videos as well. Maxine Waters. And of course, money, right? Money, currency, water, the immigration, the riots. So, anything else here? Once again, thanks to Threadnosis. That comment that led me to his channel. Very good channel. He's, like I said, go check out his videos. He's been putting on a lot of videos with all the symbolism and the connections to tomorrow as well. Let's see here. Yep, that's all I had for you. Just wanted to show you that. Do a quick recap on the submarine theme, and I showed you that before. So that's something else to keep in mind. More water symbolism for tomorrow. And let's double check my slides. 8/11 synodic period. Yeah, that's it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Very interesting day. We'll see what we get. Thanks for watching.